This video was made possible by EA Game Changers. Hey everybody, Krystal Gamer here with a new video for you. What this video is, I actually don't even entirely know yet. We're starting with a build with terrain tools, but my biggest problem this week has honestly been not knowing what videos to put out because they have given us so much stuff that I've been so overwhelmed. And, you know, I feel like I should be putting out Get Famous stuff, but at the same time, they gave us terrain tools and I'm a builder. And so I looked at Get Famous yesterday. For those of you that watch the channel regularly, you know I looked at Get Famous yesterday, but I don't know. I've got to look at this terrain tool stuff. And so I had a little build here that I did with terrain tools. This is the second one. My first build it wasn't really a build. It was more like a test. How do I use this? And then this build is something that I've been wanting to do forever. Now, I've just basically got the shell. I haven't done a lot of interior here, but I've been kind of wanting to do this forever because I grew up in a home. Well, I can't say I grew up. My grandparents lived in a place called Mountain Ave, and it was aptly named because it was, I believe, the tallest street in the city that we lived in, or that they lived in at the time. And the tallest street, and it was also up at the top of the tallest street, and it was set up on a hill on itself, like by itself. And it had retaining walls all around it. So that's what I was trying to create here. Now, I gave the home way more land than what it had in real life because we didn't have that much land at all. My grandparents were actually kind of poor. And so, yeah, it was kind of a modest little home, but I gave it a lot more land because I couldn't figure out. I was struggling with the idea of retaining walls. So there's a few things. The terrain tools are awesome. Obviously, the terrain tools are awesome, but there are definitely some limitations. Like, we can't truly create retaining walls because the walls, the terrain will not go up to the walls, not above the foundation. So you can use the foundation, but you end up with terrain over the foundation, or you use a wall and it stays away from the wall. It will not completely go up and touch the wall. So the place that I grew up in, it had retaining walls. So the land was right up against the wall. So, or the place I keep saying the place that I grew up in. It was a significant home in my childhood. I didn't grow up there, but it was significant because my grandparents were significant. But nonetheless, so I was trying to create these retaining walls, and as you can see, I sort of struggled with them a lot with, up with the terrain, down with the terrain, up with the terrain, down with the terrain, trying to figure out how to do it. But still, I'm really excited that I was able to create anything at all like this place that I grew up in, because it was up kind of on a hill, and I haven't been able to do that. And the whole thing with being able to do, a landing and then some stairs and then another landing and then some more stairs, like that is awesome. One thing that I'm a little bit disappointed in, when they said, multi-tier foundations on a single lot, I thought we were going to be able to do split levels, like true split level homes. And I got so excited about that. Unfortunately, we can't do true split level homes because we cannot attach two rooms with different foundation heights to each other. Like, they can't go next to each other, which I'm kind of hoping, like, that would be my big feedback for the creators, is that they find a way that we can do that and we can connect them with stairs so that you can have an actual split level home. So that, you can't have stairs going outside. You can, I guess, in some designs you could do that and design it that way on purpose, but you're not going to have a whole heck of a lot of designs where, a split level home is going to have stairs going outside. That would be kind of funny. But the fact that we can do multi-tier stairs like this is very cool. We have to do it with foundation pieces in order to make the stairs connect. I spent a lot of time trying to set up stairs on a slant without connecting them to a foundation piece, which I don't know why I was doing that, thinking that I could do that, but it can't be done. I think part of the reason is I think that maybe I could do that in a different game. There are a couple of things I've done different kind of games where I've built stuff. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Planet Coaster, but you can build a lot of stuff in Planet Coaster and City Skylines and stuff like this. And so there's a few other building type games out there, but I think it's Planet Coaster that does on their terrain tools. And I kind of wish we did it here. I kind of wish the developers did it here. On their terrain tools, they have a thing where instead of that little level to this little square bit on, I think it's Planet Coaster, what you do is wherever your terrain height is, you right click on a spot and it will level it to that height. Like you tell it to level it to that height. And that's so much better. The thing that I had the hardest time with on the terrain tools is that little level to this spot. Now, after we're done with the speed build portion here, which is over very quickly, this is just for my intro, I'm going to go over a couple of little terrain tool things that I struggled with doing and that are not completely obvious. And so I think that that's one thing that I'm going to do today is just go over a couple of little things just in case people haven't gotten the word yet on how to do a few different things. And yeah, and we'll look at this other crazy thing that I did too. My first quote unquote build. I don't know that you can call it a build. Like I say, it was more like a test, but we'll take a quick look at that too. But this here, I just wanted to use it for my introduction, and I don't know. It's I'm happy with it just because it's a very nostalgic thing for me. This is very much like that house that my grandparents lived in when I was young. So it has some meaning for me. You know how it is. Okay, so I'm back in with my little house, and there's just a couple of things that I want to show you. So what I'm talking about in that I couldn't make retaining walls, if you guys have the brilliant idea to do this, if I want to make a retaining wall and I want to level this thing, obviously I would want to have the terrain up to the wall, touching the wall. So it would kind of look like this. So it would be right up to the wall, but you see the problem is that it's going over. Now, you can make the circle much smaller with shift in the scroll wheel. I'm trying to still learn the keys because it's much easier to work with the keys. So I can make it smaller with the scroll wheel so that I can take this front down. And so we'll do that. And here's another key. This one for me is important because this little up and down thing to level the terrain, this to me is very hard to use. Like I say, it would be so much easier if, like, I think it's in Planet Coaster, like I would just right click this flat terrain here and then tell it to level at this height. And that would be it. With this, we have to either play with this slider, which, oh, by the way, moves at a very quick rate of speed because if it goes all the way up, it's into the heavens. I can't even see. Can you even see that? It's a tiny thing. I don't even know if y'all can see that square. It's like located in the trees right now. So that's how high that is when it's all the way up. And then take it all the way down. Well, it's going down, down, down. It's where the street is now. This gray sort of near my mouse. I can't put my mouse right over it because it won't last. But so that's down like as far as it can go, 4 stories down or whatever. So this thing, it moves so fast that it's very hard to get it to be level here. So I think probably one of the most important keyboard shortcuts to remember for terrain tools is control bracket. And so control bracket, right bracket will move it up 1 step at a time. Control left bracket will move it down 1 step at a time. And so if I want it level to there, I need it right at that spot. So I control bracket till I get to that level. I'm going to shift and then use the scroll wheel to get this down here and then get this. And I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. Now, the only thing is every time I make an adjustment here, I then have to shift and make this smaller again if I want it smaller. Now, if you want to see the grid lines, turn the grid lines on and off. That's G, just like it always is. Now, the problem with the retaining wall, you can see I'm going to make this flatten it out to everything else. And you can see what's happening is it's flattening on the inside as well. So it's no longer going up to the wall the way I want it to. And mind you, I'm using a foundation, and this here is a foundation with the window look-through fence thing. I use that fence thing as a cheater for a bunch of stuff. This here, fence for window shopping. It's from, what is that, City Living? Yeah. So that tool is a fabulous tool. It's a great cheater tool. So it's a way of using a wall without making a wall. So I needed a foundation wall so that at least the terrain would touch it, because you can see when we get up to this house, the terrain is nice. It's up to the foundation and all of that stuff. But if I go to lift it and put it up next to the house, it will not touch the house. Like it only goes up to the foundation and touching the house, and I cannot make it touch the house outside of that. So we do have some limitations, but still, I mean, hey, look, I can do this. Like, who's really, we can't complain too much here because we can create a house on a little mountain. So I'm pretty happy about that. Definitely happy about that. And I love that I can lift the foundation up and down and have rocks still come through. That's really awesome. So now that we looked at this just for a couple of seconds with the foundation, I wanted to look at the other crazy thing I built. Okay, so this is the other craziness that I built. And this was basically me just testing, what can I do with this stuff? And oftentimes when I'm testing, what I'm looking for is limitations. I'm trying to push it. Like, how far can I push it? What levels can I do? What stairs can I do? I mean, the very first thing that I did was I got in the game and I made a box. And I said, how high can I go with the foundation? It was like the first thing I did. And to answer that question, if you guys haven't done it yourselves yet, which most of you probably have. Whoops, wrong house. This one here. That's how high we can go just with the foundation, which is just insane, right? Like, I mean, that's nuts. But I love it. I love it. I'm very happy about that. And, you know, I have a question actually while I'm here. Can I just, because we're supposed to be able to go 4 stories up, so... Yeah, sure enough. Yep. We can take the foundation that high and then go 4 stories up. And if I were to take the wall height as high up as possible, I'm messing up the rest of my build here, but now I'm just playing. I just want to see how high can we go? Because I love to test limits. How high can we go? So, all right. So that's our max height, in case you were all wondering what our max height is. So, wow. Hey, you could kind of create things that look like skyscrapers. Of course, this foundation part, you can't put windows in. At least I don't think so. I think I've tried that. Yeah, no windows in foundations, unfortunately. But in any case, I have to undo all that because I messed up my whole funky building. Not that my funky building is anything that I'm going to use because I don't even actually know what it is. But, okay, I backed up too much. There we go. All right. This is where we are. And this wall next to the house, you see where this can kind of be a problem. I don't know if y'all can see that very well on the video, but it's not touching at all. And obviously in this situation, touching would make more sense. It would be built like into the mountain, but you know, we can't really have that. And sort of same thing in between. It would be kind of built into the mountain. But how crazy is it that we can do this, right? So this house is at a foundation level to here. That's where that foundation is. Then this one is down here, and then this one's even lower. So, and obviously I have stairs going. This is 1st to 2nd floor. And then this is 2nd to 3rd floor. Whoops. This is 2nd to 3rd floor here, the stairs going. So I had some work trying to figure out, like there was a lot of playing with the stairs to figure out how that goes. The only problem is the stairs do have to be outside. Even this might look like it's outside, but it isn't. It's actually inside. See, I have the stairs going inside to an interior door. So it cannot be completely exterior. We can't, because there's no way to have it touch. There's no way to have the foundations touch. So that's a little bit of a limitation, but the kind of tree houses and stuff that you could make with stairs going up and things like that, I'm thinking are kind of insane. Okay, so I thought of this other thing while I was talking to you guys, and that was that we now have the ability to build bridges between 2 structures that are not even. So take a look at this. These are definitely not on even terrain. I mean, well, we can see they're not on even terrain, but the foundation heights are not even either. This structure is lower than this structure. And I was able to build a bridge between because this here is considered the 2nd floor. So that's kind of interesting. And again, we have the tiered stairs. Now you can do something like this as far as you can make a fence follow all the way down and just keep going with it, and it'll go with the terrain, which is kind of interesting. So we can go like so. And yeah, it follows the terrain, which is cool. But One thing that you can't do is you can't take this here, like this withered brick, and follow that down. It will not, like, it only goes on flat terrain. So if I put it there, it's going to flatten that. I figured, if you can't go down with it, it's probably best to go with terrain paint rather than, some flooring versus not some flooring and stuff like that. And notice that when we put the flooring down, it made it flat. And then when we take it up, it makes it go away. It does it the same way. Like, this is something that I'm really impressed by. I think it's a really good way that they did it. I create a room here. It moves all the foundation away and allows me to create the room here. And it's the same thing with the way it flattens stuff with the floor paint. And then if you get rid of the flooring, it moves the terrain back to where it was. Same thing here. If I get rid of this house or this room, it moves the terrain back to where it was. And it'll move, how we were talking about how the terrain will not touch the wall. We can see the windows outside, so we can see it's not touching this wall. If I want to expand this out, it'll also move that terrain back further. So we can kind of see it even more now that we've got a square here. It's not really touching the wall, but we can move the rooms in the house right into the terrain without having to move the terrain, which I think is kind of a huge and awesome thing. Now, if they ever give us the ability to create water from like up here and make a stream go down, I'm just going to lose myself completely, but nonetheless. And I also wanted to, in case someone hasn't seen it, I'm betting probably everyone has. I don't know. I'm guessing everyone has done this, but in case someone hasn't seen it and they want to know how high terrain goes, let's go with this flatten to height, and I'm going to move this, whoops, wrong thing, move this all the way up and show you guys. And I know you guys have probably seen this. So that's how high you can go with the terrain. I'm sure other people are doing this, and the same thing with the lower. And, you guys can do this yourself too, but I just figure I show you just in case, and we can just dig and dig and dig. That is so like freaky. Now, the other thing that I wish we could do with this, and I'm really hoping you can't hear all that noise from outside. But anyway, the other thing that I'm really wishing that we could do with this, I wish we could add water in this. And maybe that's something that they'll give us in the future. Because, what is a pit like this without, wouldn't you have water in here? Of course you would. So, yeah, I don't know. So this, I haven't really used this tool so much. This is to flatten to that height. There we go. Beauty. So that's almost, I like it kind of, where the ground is sort of a little up and down. It's kind of cool. So anyway, that's me just playing with terrain tools and my first look at it. I'm loving it. Being able to create something that looks like this is cool. Even though this doesn't touch, whoops, I forgot to expand this out with the room. But even though this doesn't touch, once we actually, that's a point too. Once I get this roof over here, it almost kind of looks like it does. It's a good illusion. Even though it doesn't touch, it's a good illusion. Like that looks like it's kind of built into the mountain a little bit, especially if we look from this side. It's kind of looks like it's built into the mountain. So some limitations, but man, this is cool, isn't it? I hope you guys are as happy with it as I am. I'm pretty happy. We definitely have a few little limitations, but man, I am pretty happy with this terrain stuff, and I hope you guys are too. And if there's anything specific that you want on this, that you want to see on this, I have worked with terrain modeling in other applications. So I have some idea of how to do terrain modeling and stuff like that. And I don't know, I'm not an expert, but if anyone wants to see anything specific, I don't know, just let me know what you folks want to see, because I really wasn't even sure what to come out with today. So, but if you did like this, hopefully you did like this. And if you did, please do remember to hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it helps us YouTubers out a ton. And I hope to see y'all back again next time. Bye now.